MSPs, MSPs, telling stories and actually taking to the streets as well, that force your elected representative to make commitments. It's because of all this that in the future we won't just have more money in student support, there'll be a simpler and a better system of student support and a minimum income of £7,000 for the poorest students, which is something that NUS Scotland and Strathclyde have both been banging on about for a number of years. And at the same time, tuition fees for Scottish students studying in Scotland have been ruled out for the next 4 years. And I can't tell you how absolutely massive that is when we look at what's happening down in the English system at the moment. The title of this speech is about the impact of student representation. And I'd say the impacts don't become much bigger than what I've actually just talked about. The national successes that you guys have had are absolutely incredible. And they'll help students long after each and every one of you has actually left Strathclyde University. But at the same time, we mustn't let all those fantastic things take away from the importance of what you and others have achieved for your student unions locally. For most students, what's happening right here and right now on this campus, on your university, is actually far more important to what's going on at a national scale, because it's much closer to home and it affects their daily lives. Strathclyde hit the headlines because of really strong campaigning and really brave campaigning from the union last year when courses and departments came under attack. You and your union, you stood up as students in the humanities and social science classes when their futures were under attack. For I'll speak quite frankly, from I would consider narrow-minded management decisions that put profits before people and put international reputation, prestige, PR and marketing before actual education. Now some of those courses may still be closing, and the truth is that when we campaign we don't actually always get what we want. The sheer strength of that backlash from students and staff against the corporate agenda of the university management was absolutely key in persuading the SNP to announce a full governance review of how universities are actually governed and run. And it's a review that we really, really hope will make management listen to the views of students like you in the future, and also listen to staff and communities in the future when it comes to issues that affect us all. Issues like UK fees, for instance, we've been fighting our UK fees, and I know you guys have been doing an incredible job here, because we believe that education, it shouldn't be based on your ability to pay, it should be based on your actual ability. We've been calling for action to make sure students from the rest of the UK aren't put off or shut out of Strathclyde by the outrageous 27,000 price tag. Now these campaigns, as I said, they're absolutely vital, but I think when people talk about student representation, sometimes that's all they think about, and sometimes forget about actual academic representation that's so important to all of you. As students, it's absolutely imperative that we're here to campaign for equality, social justice, for a better future and fair access for everyone in education. But at the same time, a huge part of what you do is making sure that everyone that you represent has an equal opportunity to succeed when they're actually here. And that's absolutely core to why we're all here. Sorry. And it's important that every student knows that there's someone there that's going to stand up for them, that's going to fight for them, and that's going to represent them, especially if they aren't getting what they need from their university or further education. And when we say this, we're not talking about this getting what you pay for attitude or pointing to a narrow list of rules and regulations and making sure that the university sticks to them. We're talking about real academic representation and making sure that staff, course leaders, faculty leaders, management, they know what students think and how crucial it is to the education system, and why the world-class system that we actually have in Scotland remains in place. We always say that students are the experts in good teaching and good learning. And it's true, because no one knows better than you guys what good learning and good teaching actually is. Staff might be the experts in microbiology, they might be the experts in social policy. But learning is all about them working with you guys and to help you make sure that the subjects develop their own way of thinking. And learning at university, it's always been about a partnership, and students should be at the partnership about learning. It shouldn't be the university staff telling you what to do. You should be co-learners in everything you do. And that's why NUS Scotland, and I know you have here, has welcomed the Scottish Government's announcement for student partnership agreements as part of a series of reforms that's going through in further and higher education right now. Done properly, we believe the student agreements can make a huge difference to student involvement in teaching quality and strengthen the role that you guys play as class reps. Student partnership agreements, they should set out clearly all of the representation structures across the university, including class reps, and define clearly what your roles are. The agreements should cover how the university is going to support you in your work, and also listening, so always listening fundamentally what students have to say. But crucially, they should also bring together the information that you guys are gathering from students, your views on what's good and what's not, and use this to develop joint priorities and a joint plan of work so that students, associations and institutions can actually improve the student experience, the learning experience of Strathclyde actually together, as I said, in partnership. It's unlikely to be news to anyone that your union, your management won't always agree on every issue. But teaching quality and improving academic representation is absolutely key, and it's a key area where student association and the institution will almost certainly agree absolutely with each other, and you can work together to make that much more successful. And part of being an academic rep, it's about working with institutions to constantly improve the learning experience for students. We know that our universities do some fantastic stuff, but there's always going to be room to be improvement. There's always going to be the opportunity to make it so much better. Courses and faculties that could learn from each other and try new things, and just making the education experience better for everyone. And that's why your Teaching Excellence Awards are actually such a key project, and ones that NUS continues to support it and always has supported. Teaching awards, I think, as Rebecca mentioned, are about Strathclyde students giving something back to their teachers and pointing out teaching excellence. It's about you making them feel good about what they do and recognising where good teaching exists. In class reps, you're absolutely crucial to the success of these awards, and I would echo Rebecca's sentiment that everyone volunteers for that. But as class reps, you can also be important, actually, literally be a lifeline for students who are struggling and don't know where to turn to. Helping them to find the support they need, as well as working with the university to make it a better place to study. As student representatives, you've actually got the power to work with your institution and lobby to make sure that students have the support and the high quality learning that they actually need, so that students don't drop out and they get the most out of their time at university. And this is not just through great university-wide campaigns like Strathclyde's own Feedback is making a great campaign, but also it's on an individual level, how you can help individual students. The first time I entered higher education many years ago, I'm sure you can tell by the top of my head how long ago that was, it was at Abertay University, and I dropped out. And mostly I dropped out because I couldn't be bothered getting out of bed in the mornings. But actually, I also dropped out because I didn't feel that I had the support that I needed from my institution. The impact of student representation, which is what this is about, it's all about the things I've talked about. It's campaigning, it's highlighting good practice, it's uncovering issues that exist. It's working with institutions to improve overall quality, and crucially, it's finding that support for individual students as well. But there's much more to it than that as well. As a student and as a student representative, you're all part of NUS Scotland. And as I've said, you're part of the student movement, and that has always been about students being stronger together, about collectivism. And this is why NUS Scotland, we reject this complaints culture that's creeping in. We reject the consumerist approach to the quality of education. It's why we stand up to students when their courses are threatened, and it's why we fight for better funding for future students. And also it's why we fight back with fellow students when other students or other institutions are coming under attack, like colleges across Scotland today who are facing the most devastating threats in literally the history of their existence. So basically what I've just sort of taken 10 minutes to say is keep doing what you're doing. There will be no wins for students without everything that you guys do. And also, it's all the small things that you guys do with student reps that can build up to make an absolutely massive difference. And I know you've got faculty elections coming up, and I would absolutely encourage each and every one of you to run. And again, it might sound a little bit cheesy, but I mean, literally each and every one of you, you really can change people's lives. Thank you.